looking live at Arizona Stadium in Tucson, where Oregon and Arizona will determine their Rose Bowl destiny on Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Folks, it's going to be a fight to the finish in the desert tonight, and the loser is going to be pushed to the brink in the Pac-10 Rose Bowl race. It is wild in the Pac-10. By far, the best conference race left. Oregon and Arizona start tonight, and they control their own fate. Oregon State still in the thick of things, as is Stanford. As we welcome you to Saturday Night Football on ABC. For Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brett Musburger. Thanks for joining us. And Kirk, it is something special about making the Rose Bowl.
Well, if you're from the Big Ten country or, of course, from the Pac-10, this is as big as it gets. You get to the third weekend in November, you still control your own destiny to ultimately get to the big one. For these players and these coaches, it's just about locking in and trying to focus on the task at hand, and that's trying to win a game tonight.
What a beautiful night to be a sideline reporter. Here we are in November. Temperature right now, 62 degrees in the desert. Sellout crowd. And let's go down to Lisa Salters on that sideline with Arizona coach Mike Stoops.
Thank you, Brent. Mike, if you win out, Arizona goes to the Rose Bowl for the first time in school history. With all of that on the line, how do you get your guys to forget about the big picture and just focus in on what they have to do to win tonight?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. You just look at Oregon across the board. It's a very dynamic team. We're going to have to play a very disciplined game on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Special teams, got to play a full 60 minutes. We're going to play smart and hopefully put on a great show for y'all tonight.
You said it, Oregon, a very dynamic team. They've got probably one of the hottest offenses in the country right now. What do you guys have to do to slow down their dual-threat quarterback, Jeremiah Masoli?
Well, I think the offense has to manage the clock a little bit. We have to go on some drives, score touchdowns, try to take some of the momentum out of the game, and then come up with some big stops on third down.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
On the other side, Coach Chip Kelly. First season had to replace Mike Malloy, trying to keep his sideline clean. 8-2 overall, but 6-1 in the Pac-10, the only team with only one loss. John Bonanno has the ball on the tee for the Wildcats. Wilbur's ready. That's a beautiful kickoff, and that's Barner out to the 26-yard line, and coming out now is a young man, Jeremiah Masoli, who is so dangerous whether he runs or passes.
Yeah, I think that's what makes him fit into this offense so well. It's a complex system. They want to spread you out, run the option, throw the football. Chip Kelly wants a quarterback who has the ability to run. So that's exactly what he has in Masoli. And Masoli's playing with so much confidence coming into this game.
Ricky Elmore in the defensive front, ready to get down. There's the familiar 4-3 of the Stoops brothers. There's the read option. Masoli will keep it on the first play from scrimmage of the night. Picked up about 4 yards, make it second down and 6. And Cam Nelson, the senior safety, who has to tackle in space tonight. Defensive coordinator Mark Stoops telling us that.
That's exactly right, and that was a great indication of 20 tonight. Cam Nelson, as you said, not only playing in space, but being responsible. Anytime Masoli keeps the football, he's got to be able to come up and run support for Mark Stoops and make plays.
Masoli's first pass down the near side, receiver, there's interference. The field judge had the call, working on the near sideline.
Well, the ball was in the air, and Devin Ross laid DJ Davis out. It's a little hook and go.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Now they're trying to catch Ross cheating. He did a little hitch and go early in this game to take advantage of this enthusiastic crowd and an energetic defense. Ball's in the air. Once the ball's in the air, you cannot knock the receiver down. How about the pressure right here? Elmore, who you just talked about, Brent, getting in there very quickly, and that's what you have to do is somehow pressure Masoli with quick penetration.
You saw Stoops signal that he didn't think the ball was catchable anyhow. Now Masoli off a play action rolls to the right, and he's in trouble. Incomplete. A great opening defensive stand by the Wildcats.
An outstanding defensive effort here. You can see that the play action went to the left to try to hold the linebackers. They've been on it for a second, but with such great coverage downfield, it allowed those linebackers to chase Masoli down. He had nowhere to go with the football.
2nd and 10. And here comes their great running back, LaMichael James, exploding. He's closing in on the Pac-10 all-time freshman rushing record.
Brent, look how physical he is here. He runs right through the linebacker's arms, and that's what you have to respect about Masoli. You know, they lost LeGarrette Blount early in the year, more of a power back, but I'll tell you what, at 5'9" and 180 pounds, number 21 doesn't just have quickness and speed. He has shown all year a great deal of toughness.
22 yards on that run for James. Masoli stands tall and short of the first down on that first down pass. Devin Ross, who was defending Tuanay that time. Tuanay, the receiver.
We'll see how this drive ends, but you have to love how Oregon, on a hostile environment, attacking the Arizona defense. It's not, hey, let's weather the storm here on the road in the first series, get the defense out of the field. No, they're attacking Arizona.
2nd and 6. And that time, James did not find the daylight.
And Brooks Reed, the defensive end, who has been battling a high ankle sprain most of this year, finally getting healthy. And Mark Stoops told us this week, the defensive coordinator, he said, right now Elmore has all the numbers, but he probably feels that his most talented defensive lineman is 42. So him being back tonight is very important for Arizona.
Mark recognizing the offensive set and resetting the secondary here on 3rd and 7. Wildcats expecting to pass, and they're going to get it. Snapped off for a first down. Masoli came to Ed Dixon, who was his preferred target.
Jeremiah Masoli showing people, the doubters, about his ability to throw the ball. It's a simple read for him. It's right in front of him, and he gets to his favorite target, Ed Dixon. Good job on that offensive line on 3rd down and long, and giving Masoli enough time to be able to find that open area and eventually get the ball into the hands of Ed Dixon. Big conversion there for the Ducks.
Play action, and inside the 5-yard line, Jeff Mayle.
Again, showing here on 1st and 10, trying to get the defense to come up and respect the running game, and that's exactly what they did. Love the play call on 1st and 10. Oregon is known for their ability to run the football. What a perfect time to try to get the linebackers and safeties to get back.
Up tempo, right back at the line. James hitting that backfield. Terrific penetration. Tui Halamaka. The young man, the coaches call Vuna because that's his first name, but Tui Halamaka makes some play here.
How about Vuna? You're right. The blitz was called, and he's able to get through there. Nobody up front, I think, anticipating that blitz. Good job. That's one way to slow down that powerful running game. Before he can get started, you tackle him in the backfield.
2nd and goal. Whistled dead. False start. That'll cost a big 5 yards going in the red zone.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Second down and goal. Ball is put down out around the 15-yard line. Masoli trying to change it up. He keeps it himself. Cuts back against the grain. Touchdown. What a beautiful cut. Arizona actually had him bottled up. and then he cut back to the left side and made it to the end zone for the first touchdown of the night.
And Jeremiah Masoli, Brent, you're right. Arizona's there. They're trying to defend it. Masoli has such great vision. It runs like a running back from the quarterback position. And also his ability to not just see it, but that burst, similar to what LaMichael James offers as a tailback. Once he saw the cutback to the left, he just simply outran the Arizona defense, and they over-pursued the play.
Morgan Flint tacks on the extra. First down and 10. Masoli fumbles the ball. Loose ball. They get it back. Recovery by Jeff Mayle, the wide receiver, as the ball was free.
Hey, Brent, this is the matchup we talked about from the beginning of this game. Cam Nelson is the key tonight in defending Masoli when he runs the ball in the option. Jeff Mayle, good job. I didn't think they'd have a chance to pick it back up, but there's Nelson. He's been reading his keys all night. As soon as number 8 White carries the football, you're going to see Cam Nelson coming down in a hurry to try and stop him.
Cam is the senior safety from Dallas, his last game here in Tucson. 2nd and 14. Masoli off the fake going deep. Perfect strike that time. I mean, this was there were 2 receivers converging right here, Herbie.
Yep, LT 2-A gets downfield. He hits the crease, and this is what I'm talking about with Masoli throwing the football. If you're going to crowd the line and respect his ability to run the option, he and LaMichael James, this is what they do to keep you honest and to keep the safeties back, and then they get back to the bread and butter of running the football.
James patiently waited, and he is across the 20-yard line before he's brought down. Devin Ross.
So the pass play to 2-A isn't just a big game. It sets everything else up within this offense. Now you get back to getting James the football. The offensive linemen have a little bit better angles to be able to pick up blocks on the linebackers. The safeties have to respect that vertical threat of Masoli throwing the ball, and all of a sudden you get back into a rhythm with the offense. By a couple of throws from Masoli, it opens up the offense.
First down. Run the option and that late pitch, and the Wildcats were ready for it. They were certainly not fooled as Andre Crenshaw gets the carry. He's a senior from Lancaster, California.
You have to be really impressed with the overall team speed from the Wildcats defense. They're clued in tonight, doing a good job of running to the football. Corey Hall that time, an outside linebacker, showing great speed to the edge.
2nd and 13. Again, throws a incomplete. The line judge had it incomplete. Crenshaw was working the sideline.
Right, it looked like he got a foot down, even though it was by accident. I don't think he realized he was that close to the line of scrimmage, but his left foot looked like it got down. I'm sure they'll take another look at this one. Let's see if he catches the ball as his left foot touches. The left foot looks like it's down as he catches the ball.
Very close with that right foot over on the out of bounds.
Yeah, I think he had possession of the football as his left foot.
The previous play is under further review.
His left foot was still down, and then when his right foot came down, it was out of bounds. Watch his left foot as he catches the football. It's down right there. Then he steps out of bounds. But as long as that left foot is down, that's a completion.
Larry Farina, our referee here tonight.
And if this goes through the way you would expect it to go through, all of a sudden the passing yards really starting to add up because Arizona's doing such a good job in being locked in on the running game. It's opening up some one-on-one matchups for Chip Kelly and Jeremiah Masoli to try to get to downfield. The game of breaks. And when you're playing at home, you have to be able to take advantage of those breaks.
It was determined that the receiver caught the ball with a foot in bounds.
Yeah.
1st and goal at the 5-yard line.
Here's where you're up against it with Masoli. He can run or pass, bring James back to him. James will cut back. On the 5-yard line, he's down. Earl Mitchell making the play.
We'll see if Arizona's been dialed into that tonight. When you get down inside that 5-yard line, you definitely have to be aware of Masoli's ability to run the football down in this area.
He's got it. Going to try to stretch the defense, and he does not. Fumble! And again, Oregon pounces on it. David Paulson saved the possession. Number 42 by pouncing on the fumble.
But let's look at Trevin Wade, the cornerback, and how he worked so hard to be able to get off of a block, and then he fights upfield. I mean, Ed Dixon, a big tight end, is taking him on as a corner. He fights through Dixon's block and then has the presence of mind to knock the football loose. But how about Oregon? Second time on this drive, they pick up another loose football.
Third and goal. Couldn't find a receiver. Now, touchdown. Jeff Mayo lurking inside the 5-yard line. And number 8, Jeremiah Masoli, just keeps coming with his head looking downfield, spots Jeff, and they hook up at the end of this play.
And he did not give up on this play. He makes a little pirouette here, gets to the outside. Now look at Mayo sitting right there at about the 2-yard line. Ed Dixon's behind him, and it really put a lot of stress there on the Arizona defensive back because he had Dixon behind him, he had Mayo in front of him, and he had to make a decision one way or another. And another job of improvising there by Jeremiah Masoli. If you're a receiver on this Oregon offense, never give up on a play with Masoli.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty.
Started his high school career outside of San Francisco and then went to famed St. Louis High School in Honolulu and moving on to JC at City College of San Francisco. Deflected, intercepted, picked off at the 44-yard line. Sterling Lewis, the linebacker, and with 4:18 to go, Arizona's got a chance for a huge lift.
Well, Arizona has been flirting with getting an opportunity to get the big turnover. Remember that last drive, Oregon put the ball on the ground twice, and they were unable to come away with a turnover. This time, the deflection, and a great job here of being able to find it by Sterling Lewis. The ball goes in the air. Who else? Cam Nelson knocks it up into the air, and Sterling Lewis, the senior, showing some very nifty moves there after making a catch.
Nahuko will be the running back, number 28. Grigsby has not returned. Whistle.
Look, he let the play clock down again.
Delay of game. Offense, number 8.
Oh,
5-yard
boy,
penalty.
that's the last thing you want to do.
First down.
The last thing, you get a big break. Crowd's fired up. Here we go. Ball's in Oregon's territory. 5-yard delay of game.
Using his running back on a flare, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Well, Matt, speaking of Austin, Texas, that's where Nick Foles is from. He went to Westlake High School. He broke Drew Brees' records while he was in high school. So here is Foles standing tall over the middle for a first down to the 25-yard line. That's William Wright.
They finally get the ball thrown downfield. Cover 2. Nice big hole between the two linebackers. That time Spencer Pasinger on one side, Casey Matthews on the other. This gives you an idea when Nick Foles gets into rhythm back there what he can do. Great read and a good job by Sonny Dykes of getting the ball downfield against this Oregon defense, again, that's crowding this line of scrimmage.
Nahuko in this package. Sonny Dykes, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays upstairs against the 4-man rush. Again, flaring to the Nahuko. And that's down the sideline. It'll be first and goal. Lewis, the defender.
Man coverage right here on the outside is actually going to open it up for a little pass to the outside. Good recognition by Foles. You see the linebacker pacing here. It takes him a while to come off the tight end to get out there. But the man coverage on the outside on Terrell Turner by Tolmage Jackson left a great alley to the outside that time. And Nuoko was able to get out there.
Tutogi, very powerful lead back. Nahuko set behind him. You see number 31 now. It is first down and goal. Got plenty of time. Nobody open. And there is a penalty flag.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Inexcusable mistakes by the Wildcat offense here. Self-destructing.
Yeah, especially when they're just starting to get some momentum. They have something like this happen again, sets them back. Now, it's not the end of the world. They're still inside the 10-yard line here. Plenty of time. They're still trying to execute here in this red zone area. Something to keep in mind. Oregon started the game with the football. If Arizona can punch it in here, it's important to be able to get the football back to start the second half.
Nahuko, number 28, to the left. Out of bounds at the 5-yard line is A.J. Simmons, sophomore from Oakland.
Brent, you talked about Rob Gronkowski, big 6'6" tight end, and how he's been out for the year. This is the area where he usually would be their weapon this year. In fact, against Oregon last year, he had a field day against the Ducks defense, but you take him out of the lineup and it handcuffs what Sonny Dykes likes to do typically in the area. Now you see him more in the 4 wide receiver look, trying to spread the defenses out, even inside this 5-yard line area.
Second and goal. Throw to fade left side. Jump ball. Touchdown. Arizona. Kreiner. Sophomore from Las Vegas. Puts the Wildcats out on the board. And a turnover leads to a touchdown.
I think he's going to go up against a true freshman. A great throw by Foles. But one thing about Kreiner is he is 6'4", going up against Cliff Harris at 5'11". Foles knows that. He puts the ball way up in the air where only Kreiner can fight over Cliff Harris and bring that ball down. Great throw, great execution by Arizona.
Alex Zendejas.
ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday.
Foles looking downfield, got a man at the 42-yard line.
Dean is in one-on-one coverage, and because of the great pass protection, Foles has time to come all the way back. You can see how Dean worked back, and eventually Foles was able to look over and find him for a huge gain.
26 yards.
We'll take a peek at this one maybe, Brent. As he came forward, I think they're trying to see if the tip of the ball may have hit the surface, or did he get his hands under the football? It's worth taking another look for sure.
Corner.
See the tip there?
Yep. Nose of the football strikes the ground. Cliff Harris, the freshman defensive back, coming over. You just get the feeling watching young Harris that in a couple of years he's going to be one of the better defensive backs in the Pac-10. He sort of has that strut to him. I know he was beaten on that comeback on that, but he just never quite gives up on a play, does he?
Saw him against USC a few weeks ago back in Eugene. Yeah, I mean, when you're a true freshman in the college game, and especially the Pac-10 with such great skill, you're gonna make a play, and then you're gonna struggle for a couple plays, and you need to be able to have, as the coaches say, a short memory, and he has that.
What's interesting, Herbie, is that Arizona's offense has gained as many yards this half as Oregon's. Now, remember, we came in here raving about the Oregon attack, and with good reason. But I believe the star of the show so far has been the Wildcat defense.
No doubt.
Even though they've given up 14.
Yeah, they've given up 14 points, but a lot of that has been by Masoli improvising.
Exactly.
I mean, and they've been in position to make plays.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
What do you guys say? Inconclusive evidence?
I no longer use the word indisputable.
Indisputable. Okay.
I think the SEC has buried that forever.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's
all that up to you.
Whoever's in the booth, it's his judgment, and we'll go with it. Okay.
That sounds good to me.
I mean,
but a huge play. Arizona catches a break. A few things have gone against Arizona. Now all of a sudden the tide's starting to turn. They're sensing an opportunity here to be able to get points on the board.
Ready to go. Nobody open deep. Has to throw it away.
Well, it's great coverage downfield. You're right. There are a couple defenders staying with Dean to the right. He wanted to try to go to him, but he's taken away completely, and he tries to come back. He did look back to Kreiner. Kreiner's taken away, but the one thing I'm seeing in this first half from Foles, considering they were down 14, a presence. He has a presence for a young quarterback that coaches love to see. And if he can continue to make good decisions like that one, he's going to give his offense and this Arizona team a chance to win tonight.
Who to the 40-yard line.
Foles is an interesting story. You mentioned he's from Austin, Texas. He verbals to Arizona State, ends up signing with Michigan State, and then ends up transferring out to Tucson. It's a heck of a journey for a redshirt sophomore after sitting out last year in his transfer year.
Third down and 9. He's got the first down. William Wright, the sophomore from Oklahoma.
They pick up the first down, which will stop the clock. 12 seconds. He's going to fire the ball to kill it. Save the timeout. Kill the clock with a quick fire into the ground.
9 seconds left.
Well, how did that snap take 3 seconds? If I were Mike Stoops, clock was stopped with 12 seconds, so the snap fired into the ground. I don't know how that takes 3 seconds. Having that last timeout is big here. If you can get about an 8 to 10 yard gain, just give him a chance at a field goal.
Dropped. He had exactly what he wanted. Alex Zendejas, his uncle Max was a Wildcat legend. Another uncle, Lewis, kicked at Arizona State and the National Football League. So as far as kickers go down here in Arizona.
Oregon, number 1 of the half. It's a 30-second timeout.
Here are your BCS standings as we head toward the championship and all the bowl games and everything is still to be decided. Georgia Tech Idol today will play Clemson for the ACC title. I'm sure that John and Jesse will have details on how Clemson made that game. Points that if you go down through the entire Pac-10, the conference might be a little bit deeper than the SEC. Not to take anything away from the two heavyweights.
Yeah, Florida and Alabama carry the SEC, but the depth of the Pac-10 this year, I think, gives him an edge as being the most dominant conference in the country.
47-yarder now.
Another timeout by Chip Kelly.
Alex Zendejas. I think he just likes being booed. All right, this is a 47-yarder. His longest is 37. Is that his longest? You bet it is. And they've got to break him up a little scrum, and they do. Let's go down to Lisa with Coach Kelly.
Thanks, Brett. Chip, you guys seem to be in control of the game with a couple minutes to go in the half. What changed?
The turnover hurt us a little bit. It's a good football team. We knew we were going to be in for a battle.
You mentioned the interception. That's what seemed to start it all. What happened on that play?
Ball got tipped, and they made a good play.
Jeremiah Masoli and the Oregon Ducks lead Arizona 14-10. However, Herbie, keep in mind that the Wildcats have scored the last 2 times they've handled the ball, touchdown, field goal, and they get the first possession of the second half.
Yeah, it was very big for Arizona to be able to finish the first half the way they did. Again, they came up with a big touchdown off of the interception, but they also had enough time to be able to get into field goal range. And now all of a sudden the momentum, without a doubt, is favoring Arizona as we start this second half.
From the 10-yard line. Nahuko will open as a running back. Grigsby went out. Green injured the shoulder, has not returned. There's a penalty flag thrown by the umpire.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Number 88, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Brandon Bear, one of the tackles, as we go down below to Lisa.
Well, Brett, you see Nick Grigsby coming out of the locker room now, back out onto the field. I talked to Mike Stoops, and he said that he was further evaluated at halftime, and he is going to try to give it a go this half.
Carried only 2 times for 8 yards in the first half. Now first down and 10 after the penalty. Foles going long, got an open man, deflected just at the end, and incomplete by Cliff Harris. What a promising career number 3 has for the Ducks.
I love the call. This is what we were calling for in the first half. Oregon is leaving their corners isolated one-on-one, and you have to make them pay for that. There's the young freshman, Harris, playing pretty good position there on Kreiner, but if the ball is thrown more to the middle of the field, Kreiner have a much better chance. But by stretching this defense, it'll give Foles in this running game a better chance.
Second and 10 goes back to the flat and picks up 7 yards. Live game summary. We're going to compare Masoli and Foles here. Foles throwing it more times, as you might expect. And obviously, in a rushing situation, Masoli has a big edge there.
A big interception by Masoli, giving Foles in Arizona life to get that first touchdown.
3rd and 3. Foles going to throw underneath for it. And did not get the first down. You're going to run that pattern. You got to get beyond the first down marker.
You're exactly right, Brent. Linebacker Spencer Pasinger was thinking the same thing, and he was eyeing the Arizona receivers right in the middle of the field. He's just waiting for the receiver to come across the middle. And I think, actually, if you think about it, Dean may have just lost the feel for where he was. He runs into the umpire, and he's still 2 or 3 yards short when he caught the football of getting that first down.
Varner back deep for the Ducks. Oregon survives the personal foul. Coffin corner. Brilliant punt. So that punt is being reviewed. Lyle Brown, the defensive back, working down near the goal line. Takes the ball over to the sideline.
The ruling on the field stands.
And a brilliant play on his part. A 4-point game. If you just joined us, Rose Bowl implications for both these teams. If either wins out, they will go to Pasadena. Meanwhile, Stanford under fire in the big game against Cal. It's now 31-21 Cal in the 4th quarter of that one. Here it is, first down and 10 for Jeremiah Masoli and the Oregon Ducks. He'll throw from his own end zone. Goes deep ball, incomplete.
Jameer Holland, what a gutsy call here by Chip Kelly. Backed up inside his 1-yard line. He gets one-on-one coverage against Devin Ross, who's very fast, but Holland has great speed himself. He got to the inside. Ball's just thrown a little bit over the middle of the field there and didn't give Holland much of a chance.
Tremendous performance late in the first half by the Wildcats. It throws over in the flat, basically a run play, and it is good for 5 yards. That was Devin Ross blowing that play up to Tuane.
He's going to come from his corner position and take Tuane out of the position of being able to get downfield. He does come a little bit high. He's got to be careful there. But for a cornerback at 5'11", 175 pounds, not only is he fast, he's very physical.
3rd and 4 for the Ducks. Incomplete, and the Ducks go 3 and out. Good field position coming up for the Wildcats.
To be able to slow down Jeremiah Masoli, you have to be able to have corners like Devin Ross and Trevin Wade holding up when they're one-on-one on the outside. When you get that kind of coverage against the Oregon receivers, it allows you to bring pressure and it allows you to confuse Jeremiah Masoli, something he has not seen much of at all in this Pac-10 conference.
Rice, the freshman punter. Right at midfield. Stretches the coverage team. Has an alley. At the 31-yard line.
A huge block to spring him, and the crowd responded. Talk coming from the right. Orlando Vargas. Watch this block right here. 38. Boom! Just annihilates an Oregon defender that time who was trying to come downfield. Big block, and Embry didn't know what hit him.
Best starting field position of the night, and look who's back as a running back. Nick Grigsby checks in. His third carry of the night, picks his daylight, explodes to the 15-yard line. And what a lift he gives the Wildcats with his return, despite re-injuring that shoulder in the first half.
Look at the patience here, Brent. He picks his spot eventually with that zone blocking. There's a crease. He waits patiently, finds it, and then has that ability to explode through the hole. See a few arm tackles, and this is the difference with Grigsby. He's a tough runner. He's able to pick up not just yards, but gets downfield in a hurry.
And as the running back. Nahuko to the 8-yard line.
This offensive line all of a sudden starting to take control up front here. Herman Hall, the left guard, pulling around, simple power play. But what great surge that time by Arizona's front as they pushed the Oregon front seven back and gave the back enough room to get some yardage there.
Backup left guard Herman Hall is the guard who pulled to lead power. Second down for quarterback Nick Foles. Handing off. And not much doing on that play as Grigsby had returned for the Cats. Casey Matthews, the junior middle linebacker, making the tackle.
First time we've called Casey Matthews' name tonight. They call him the glue of this defense. Very intelligent junior. Of course, his dad, Clay Matthews, is his older brother. First-round pick out of USC last year. Playing for the Packers. Brings a lot of intangibles to the position.
3rd and 3. And Nick Booth is now on the field as a running back. They knew something. Touchdown, Arizona. Leading for the first time tonight. And they go 4 deep at the running back position. And they find young Mr. Booth. And he gets the job done. Nick is out of Naperville, Illinois.
Nothing like bringing in fresh pair of legs late in a football game. And Booth is able to get up there. 2 linebackers on the inside actually blitzed, but the Arizona offensive line was ready for it, especially Vaughn Dossie, who came up with a big block.
Booth, the running back behind Foles, gets the call again to the 35-yard line, and Pleasant making the stop. With 3 minutes to go in Palo Alto, California with a 3-point lead on Stanford. 31-28 is the update on that game. Stanford, of course, still in this 4-team battle. There is even a version of this that would put USC back in Rose Bowl. I'm not going there.
That's too tough.
2nd down and 4. Arizona still has to play USC, too. Deflected incomplete.
See how Foles is going with a lot of these short throws. Quick passes, and I think Oregon's starting to adjust. They're sitting on those throws. That's why I thought it was so important that Foles get the ball downfield where he tried to get the football to stretch the defense. And even on those throws, even if you don't hit it, at least it's going to give the defensive backs and especially the corners, Thomas Jackson on one side and Cliff Harris on the other, the idea that the potential is there to back them up a bit.
3rd and 4 for Foles. Middle. And running wild is William Wright. 34 yards, Herbie.
It all starts with the offensive line. Are you kidding me? I know they're only rushing 3, but the risk that you take when you rush 3s, you're going to give the quarterback enough time to finally find a receiver who can get into a window with the quarterback, and that time Wright found it, but it took about 4.5 or 5 seconds of pass protection, and Foles didn't have anybody close to him.
Nahuko checks back in as the running back. Going to throw again. Going to go for it all. Got him open. Incomplete. And William Wright with that burst was right there.
Well, it looked like that's what I'm talking about. Get the ball. See, look at the defensive backs. They're sitting at 7 and 8 yards. You can get behind them. It's exactly the call that they need to make. And Wright is there. The ball just a bit overthrown. But Sonny Dykes seeing the same thing that I think we're seeing up here. Oregon secondary crowding that line. It makes it pretty easy for a receiver like Wright with speed to get right behind it. They'll go back to that.
2nd and 10. Foles way high to the end zone. Out of the back of it. Look out for that upright. I saw him moving in on that. I didn't know if Kreiner had seen it out of the corner of his eye.
We're up here trying to use a little body language to get him away from that. You're right. Anytime they get to the middle of the field, to the back of that end zone. But there they are again, trying to stretch this defense. Pretty good coverage that time. And Foles put it where he had to, where nobody's going to be able to make that catch.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter. And they run for the first down. Nahuko.
3rd down, expecting a longer pass. An outstanding call here. Catches the Oregon linebackers off balance. Spencer Paysinger, 35, had a chance to make the play. But these backs, all of a sudden, you're seeing a bigger style of back from Arizona as they get down to their 3rd and 4th string guy. Nahuko and Booth, about 220 pounds.
Sonny Dykes keeping the Duck defense off balance with his play calling. Nahuko, that time the D was ready for the running play. And there's a penalty flag thrown at T.J. Ward. He came up with a little demonstration, and let's see if he incurred the wrath of the officiating crew. A little bit of hot dogging here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2 of the defense. After this is the goal. First down.
See, that is the right call. All over college football, we see players who sometimes act appropriately and other times act inappropriately. That, according to the rule book, that should be flagged every single time across the country.
And he was taken out by his coach, Chip Kelly. And remember, T.J. Ward had played a good game, and he made a fine play on that. And there he is barking over on the sideline. Hopefully he's trying to fire that offense up. A Pac-10 showdown, 1st and goal. And Foles hands it off for the Wildcats. Nahuko. And Nahuko still battling for yards.
And that freshman Nahuko and that big offensive line, it looked like he's going to be stopped for a short gain. He just kept pounding, kept moving that pile. Offensive line's throwing some people around. Looked like it's forward progress. But look at him. He don't want to stop. They gave him possession all the way down to the 5-yard line.
2nd down and goal. Foles comes back, deflected, incomplete.
That time, forcing this throw. One of the few mistakes we've seen him make. He got a little bit greedy, a little bit impatient. Wanted to go to the left. Good job of coming back to the right, but He's got to make sure that he's falling back on his back foot, trying to throw the football, and his accuracy was off. Threw the football behind. Oregon almost stepped in front of that, and there was nobody that would have stopped that defender from taking it all the way back.
3rd and goal. Touchdown, Arizona. William Wright, the sophomore from Oklahoma. And a little bit of daylight for the Wildcats. Guarda will hold. And Alex Zendejas tacks on the extra point. Well, Nebraska has wrapped up the Big 12 North. They will play Texas for the Big 12 championship in 2 weeks. And here, Arizona and Oregon battling for a possible Rose Bowl berth. And here on the bounces, Barner lost control of the ball, picks it back up, and is down at the 20-yard line.
Brent, I was surprised on 3rd down to see the soft coverage from Oregon. Now, this is T.J. Ward, the safety, and I think he's communicating here to Lewis to come over here to help. Watch as this play works itself out, and Ward starts to say, hey, I need somebody right here to help me out. Somebody needs to come over here and help me out. Look how soft the coverage is, and Wright's just going to go out here. It's a simple throw. There's nobody there. Throws it for a touchdown, and Ward's looking back. Guys, I need somebody to help me out.
1st down and 10. Masoli throws it out of bounds. So it is down to 3. These two plus Oregon State are in control. And complete as the ball is Tuanay's hands. And now the battle for the road. Oregon, this game, and Oregon State win them both, they're in. Arizona win this game against Arizona State, and USC, they're in. The Beavers win out and Arizona loses 1 game, they're in. So the Big 3. Masoli and finding Eddie Dixon. He came back to the backside for an Oregon 1st down.
Remember early in the game we talked about Mike Stoops and Mark Stoops saying the one thing they had to do was to be able to take away the running of Masoli and LaMichael James. And you look at this football game at this point, James has not been a factor. 46 yards. Masoli 40 yards. Masoli's arm is going to have to get them back into this game.
And he is doing just that right now on this drive.
One of the few defenses we've seen this year able to slow down Masoli and get him into some obvious passing downs. They've completely taken away the running game. You can see what they've done throughout this year, especially in conference play, compared to what they're doing tonight against this Mark Stoops defense.
Fastball incomplete.
Everybody's doing their job. You can't really focus on the defense and say, boy, the linebackers are stepping up, and the defensive line. When you play this kind of complex system, everything's connected to everything else within the defensive structure. The defensive line, the linebackers, secondary's left out on an island, and now another big 3rd down.
The Roses are out in Tucson. Masoli will try to run for it. He's got it. Cam Nelson hanging on and preventing a huge gain.
It's the first time they brought pressure. They brought the linebackers, and it's the first time that we've seen Masoli out making a play within the running game since maybe back in the first series of this football game.
Remember, Oregon feels that they can out-condition you in the 4th quarter, that their up-tempo attack will keep them going. Middle, high, caught by the 5-yard line. That is Jeff Mayle making a huge play for the Ducks, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Jeff Mayle, along with Ed Dixon, are the go-to targets for this Oregon offense. The ball is high, pretty good coverage by Wade, but the body position by Mayle is the reason he's able to catch this ball. Just notice how he kept himself and the defender on the back end, made it much easier to go up and make the catch.
Masoli's going to throw. Incomplete.
Great coverage again, Brent, downfield. This defense is well schooled in knowing what to expect from this play-action pass game from Oregon.
Checking the sideline. James slips through, just short of the end zone.
They like to put a little bit more depth with LaMichael James when they get inside this 10-yard line and run the inside veer. They're running that option look, but they're trying to attack the interior of the Arizona defense.
And they can change up the offensive call. That's why they've been looking back at the sideline here. And Masoli walks in. When that hole opens up off his fake to James, there's just nobody there to take the quarterback on.
Tuiha, you want to help me on that? Tuiha Kalaka. Vuna comes down that time, and it made it so easy. That's what you're used to seeing from Oregon in this option attack, especially inside the 5-yard line. They commit, they take that back away, and it makes it an easy read from Masoli.
Jeremiah Masoli brings the Duck offense out with a 1st and 10 at the Arizona 45-yard line. James on a cutback hold. There's 14 more yards for James. And Masoli and James starting to pick it up here, Herbie.
Yeah, it looks like they may go up tempo here, but there's the vision of LaMichael James. He's in 100% speed mode, and he's able to see a cutback to the left, and he gets there real quick, a little jump hop step back to the inside.
65 yards, the all-time freshman rushing record. Now he's in danger of giving some back, and look at him, batter back and gain about half a yard on that play. Just looked like he was going to lose about 3, but that's how shifty LaMichael James from Texarkana, Texas is. Once in a high school football game down in Texarkana, he rushed for 322 yards in a single game. Yes, he was recruited by the Longhorns, but he wanted to leave the state. And he's happy to be up in Eugene, and they're happy to have him. 2nd down and 9. Masoli bounces, throws it away, and Nelson on top of the receiver, David Paulson.
Great coverage, top of the screen, 20 red, right there. Cam Nelson staying with Paulson. It's a heavy fake by Masoli, and he's trying to get Nelson to buy up and think that it's an option attack, getting him to come up to the line of scrimmage. That's the discipline that Cam Nelson's been playing with all night. Paulson, the tight end, trying to get behind him, and he was with him stride for stride.
James stretching it to the left side, and he is upended as he crosses the 30-yard line by Trevin Wade, the sophomore from Round Rock, Texas, number 24, and he rocked him.
Well, Mark Stoops has to be pleased tonight with Devin Ross on one side of the boundary corner and 24, Trevin Wade. Both guys zeroed in on what their assignments are tonight in holding up, and not only in coverage, Brent, but also in run support. They're very active tonight.
This for the tie. Morgan Flint with a 43-yarder. Hits the crossbar and goes across. We are deadlocked. Had it all the way, Herbie.
It's a line drive to center field. I think the crowd thought it was going to be short. He didn't hit it very well. But he got the
take it.
Yep.
Boink.
Oh, no.
Eight minutes and 2 seconds remaining. Deadlocked. Arizona led it by 10, and the Ducks battle right back. Line drive, kickoff, fielded on the 4 by Cobb. Cobb to the 29-yard line. Nahuko is the running back. Foles tracking down to the flat again, and a big play foot race underway. Kreiner with speed goes the distance. 71-yard touchdown. Zendejas tacks on the extra point. And so here we go. 3:11 for Masoli. And right away, he attacks for 9 yards to open up this series with the sure-handed Jeff Mayle, the junior from California.
One thing about that interception is it saves a timeout, so they still have the 2 timeouts left.
Masoli runs for the first down. He's going to get out of bounds and stop the clock at 2:45. And you need a touchdown and the extra point.
You look at the clock under 3 minutes. The time for this kind of offense is not a factor yet. I know they haven't had a great night, but once they're executing the way they're capable of executing, they can get down the field in a hurry, even though they're known for their ability to run the football, not their passing game.
The Ducks spread the field. Masoli is flushed. He'll stop the clock again as he steps out at the 34-yard line. Here comes James. Struggling toward that first down marker, battling to pick up extra yards at the end of that run. The all-time freshman rushing record he broke tonight for the Pac-10. And I think he shows you a little bit more than speed on this run.
This is what I love about LaMichael James. He's at 5'9", 180. Is that amazing? Second and third effort to get across for the first down.
And Reed had a hold of his jersey as Masoli is forced to the left. Tough throw out of bounds.
Dixon's name. He's flexed out to the top as a tight end.
Got the first down and out of bounds as they work the near side with Holland.
Good recognition, quick throw, soft coverage that time from Ross. Has his speed merchant Jameer Holland, a transfer from USC, matched up one-on-one, got the ball out quick. Easy throw, first down.
1:48 to go. Ball at the Arizona 45. Low. Reaching down and making the grab with Wade defending on the play. Mayle working on that far side. Here we come again. Minute and a half now. Second down and 5. Prior to the play, 5-yard penalty against Oregon.
Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the junior tackle, Kaiser.
Oregon has thrown a lot of throws here in the last 2 or 3 plays underneath the coverage. Quick, simple throws. I'm surprised that Arizona is giving that easy throw away. They'll continue to close that cushion the deeper they get into Arizona territory.
Dropped.
Pressure again is there, but Masoli has just enough time to be able to put the ball in the hands of Davis. Davis would have put them at 3rd and 3 if he were able to hold on to that catch.
1:06 for the game. 3rd and 11 for Masoli. Going to try to run forward Davis. He's got a chance. He's got the first down. A gutsy 3rd down running play. And LaMichael James picks up the first down.
There's the vision and that quick step. I mean, the one thing you love about James, not just the speed and the toughness, but the vision and how quickly he accelerates once he sees the crease.
And Earl Mitchell, their great defensive lineman, limping a little bit to the sideline, and Oregon's got him under the gun right now. They're 29 yards away from a touchdown. They're inside of a minute. Masoli, pump fake, Comes back near side, and the receiver was down. He had slipped. So it will be second down and 10. Masoli wanted interference on the play.
He got the call earlier in this football game on a pump and go like that, where he had Davis one-on-one with Ross. Ball was in the air. Ross threw Davis out of bounds. They gave him it early in the game, but they didn't get the call this time.
Second down and 10. Here's Masoli working back to the middle. That is short of the first down. Clock continues to run now with Jeff Mail. They've got to hurry.
Got to use the timeout here. Students are thinking this hay's in a barn. This game's over. You better be careful.
They just want to be in a good spot to rush the field in case it is over. If we go to overtime,
good seats for overtime.
Back up over the wall. The Redout tonight in Tucson, another sellout crowd. Jim Livengood, the outstanding athletic director here, and they run a tremendous all-around sports program. Now Coach Stoops has turned the football team certainly in the right direction over the last few years. All right, final 31 seconds now. Oregon trying to force overtime. Third down and 5. That one timeout remaining. First down marker and right around that 18-yard line. And here's Masoli. Trying to get somebody open, trying to position a receiver, and has to throw it away, and we're down to the fourth down.
Brent, I think he got a little greedy there. He had his back leaking out of the backfield, and he either didn't see him or he was waiting for Ed Dixon, the tight end, to clear into the end zone. But he had LaMichael James for a first down for a short gain if he wanted it, but I think he was focused downfield on the big game.
Here's your fourth down. 23 seconds. The timeout has been called by Stoops in Arizona. Fourth down and 5. It has come to this. Here's Masoli. Fires, got the first down. 18 ticks of the clock left. Mail, the reliable one.
Got to make quick decisions here. Chip Kelly trying to get everything in to Jeremiah Masoli. Still has the one
15
timeout.
yards away. Roll to the left. Fire out of bounds. Stop the clock. That is Davis. Dixon and Mail have been go-to guys. Masoli lobs his own. We're 1 point away from a tie. Eddie Dixon, with 6 seconds to go, makes the grab in the end zone. And now a big extra point coming up from Morgan Flint. And some of those students who had surrounded the sideline ready to storm the field are an extra point away from maybe going back to watch overtime. 6 ticks left. Morgan Flint. Bad snap. Put down. And Flint saves it. Nate Costa was the holder with a good pair of hands that time. We're deadlocked.
Brent, how about Ed Dixon moving right here to the inside, makes a little move to the outside to get just enough room, getting away from Robert Golden. He was flexed out, a little move to the outside, Golden bid on it, and then he goes back to the middle of the field, and a perfect throw. And how about the poise by Jeremiah Masoli, leading his team down all the way down the field. And here's Mike and Mark Stoops, a bit frustrated there. But an amazing drive there with the game on the line by Oregon and Jeremiah Masoli. 6 seconds left.
And look at some of the students are making their way back to the seats. And what a good job Costa did with that hold. He didn't panic. He got it set down. And that could have been a disaster right there.
I didn't realize the snap was that
it was
bad.
bad. I'm telling you, Costa did a brilliant job.
It bounced
saving the moment.
Oh, my God. You imagine after all of that by Masoli and the offense?
Final 6 seconds of regulation. They'll kick it along the ground. They'll take a knee.
Can we see the hold one more time? Because I just can't believe it could come down to a simple thing like the extra point, which you just assume is a given. But the backup quarterback, Nate Costa, takes the one hopper. He's like a shortstop. Sign him up for the Ducks baseball team.
It is so critical that he didn't panic.
Oh, kept his cool. That's why
kept his cool, set it there, and also Morgan's timing was not thrown off. He hesitated enough.
Right.
And so we will go to overtime. The battle for the Rose Bowl continues in Tucson. First play of overtime for the Ducks. Masoli. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Like we were saying, this is what it should be like. 31-31, both teams controlling their own destiny to get to a conference championship and ultimately the Rose Bowl. And there's our man. He's been doing it all night. Devin Ross fighting for that football.
Here comes James. Bursting middle, 5. 1st and goal. LaMichael James, who tonight set the new freshman rushing record for the Pac-10, does it again.
How about his jump cuts and how quickly he accelerates off of them? If you give him just a little bit of room, virtually impossible for a linebacker to be able to make a tackle in the alley.
Now 1st and goal for Masoli. They check back over to the end zone. I should say the sideline. The coaches upstairs have had a chance to see what Arizona will set up with what kind of personnel they've got. Whatever it was, they ate James up with big Earl Mitchell. Can't say enough about that defensive tackle, number 49.
Yeah, he's been all over the field. Looks like James may have to check out of this game. They'll bring in Andre Crenshaw in to the football game. Remember, Brent, again, we've seen it over the year. When Oregon gets inside a 5-yard line, their big trend is to get the ball in the hands of Masoli off of that option fake and keep it into the end zone.
Crenshaw hit by Tui Halamaka. So Tui Halamaka, number 8, stands in that hole and makes the play.
Tui Halamaka that time holding on for dear life, and he didn't have to defend the speed of James, who had to check out, nor the power that time from Crenshaw.
James is back. Masoli rolling to the left, fires end zone, and coming up with a brilliant catch is Jeff Mayle.
I'm going to tell you something, Brent. I don't know if there are very many receivers in the Pac-10 conference much better than Jeff Mayle. 6'1", 175 pounds. Looks like he grew up playing backyard football his whole life. Always coming up with receptions like this at crucial moments in the game, lays out and makes the catch of the year at this point for the Oregon offense.
Extra point is tacked on, and now Arizona needs to match a 7th.
Jeff Mayle comes from all the way from the right side, and he's going to fight the top corner, Devin Ross. Never gives up on the play, and I love at the very end, Brett, he came back towards the football, taking away the angle for Ross to be able to get his hand extended to knock the ball away. Just at the end, he started to come back towards the football, which gave him a chance to make that catch. That was beautiful.
Nahuko will be the running back behind Foles. There's that little flare screen.
Swarming defense on that play.
2nd down and 9. Nahuko, Oregon State, defeating Washington State earlier. So if the Ducks can hang on, they would play Oregon State on a Thursday night on ESPN for the right to go to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. But first things first, 3rd and 4 here for the Wildcats. And they're still alive. 1st and 10. Nahuko carrying the load as Grigsby re-injured that shoulder tonight.
Oregon just guessed wrong that time with their blitz from Pasinger, the linebacker. He shot through the wrong gap. Nahuko was able to get through that hole, but Pasinger took himself right out of position by coming off to the middle of the offensive line.
Booth, now the running back. Gets the call. He'll battle you for a couple of extra yards, won't he? 2nd down and 7 for Foles, who's back in the gun. Throws for the running play. Loose ball. Lineman goes down. Oregon digging for it. Ducks say they've got it. If so, it's over. If they've got this loose ball. Ducks are celebrating. Hang on now. They're coming out. And Arizona has got the football on the other side. Herman Hall, who is the backup left guard, standing there saying, boys, after you get done wrestling and pointing, turn around because I got something you might want.
Yeah, I'm like, Brandon, we got Herman Hall here holding the football. Look at these guys. That's a scrum. You got 340-pounders in here fighting for it. Big Dotsy, 70, looking for that football. They're going to give it to Arizona. How'd you like to be at the bottom of that one, Brett? You don't even want to know what's going on at the bottom of that pile.
3rd down and 7. Need a touchdown and an extra point to keep going. And let's see if we're going to have a little review here.
The previous play is under further review.
Now, what do you say is your new rule? It's based on the judgment.
It's based on the judgment of the man who's making the decision.
What exactly is he going to look at here? Got some wide bodies in there, pushing each other around. It looks like Oregon has it. They were pretty confident running off the field, thinking that one of those white jerseys ended up falling on the football.
So here we go. 3rd down coming up. Nahuko has checked back in. So he'll be the running back. 38-31. First overtime. Oregon with the lead. Pump fake by Foles. In trouble. Deep trouble. And a penalty flag is thrown. Tukuafu, number 39, was in on him.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, half the distance to the wall, 1st down.
So Tukuafu incurs the personal foul.
Foles, remember last week against Cal, where he had that decision where the ball came back to him and he ended up catching it and trying to throw it again? Kind of reminds you of that as he's rolling to his right. Really didn't see anything there coming to the face mask.
It looked like he had wrapped around a little bit, Herbert, with the other hand. That one view indicated that it quite possibly was there. That official had a pretty good look at it. 1st down and goal. Nothing doing for Nahuko. 2nd down and goal. Foles on a short drop. Fires to the end zone for the touchdown. An extra point away. And for Kreiner, his 3rd touchdown catch of the night. A breakout night for Jaron Kreiner, the sophomore from Las Vegas.
Great job by Foles. Watch his footwork. Watch his patience. Waiting for Kreiner to work back to the outside. He had a slant initially designed to go back to the middle. It's taken away by 2 defenders. He slides back to the outside, and Foles hangs in there with him. Late on a Saturday night, and the Pac-10 championship is on the line as far as getting in the driver's seat. to get to potentially a Pac-10 championship. We wouldn't want it any other way to have a chance to get to the granddaddy of them all, right?
I have done a 3 overtime game involving a team from Arizona, but that was the Phoenix Suns. So we're in the second overtime here tonight, right?
You didn't have the red eyes. You didn't have red eyes.
No.
Play all night.
Well, here we are. Oregon State wants the Ducks to win this game tonight, and then they'll play for everything on a Thursday night in Eugene. First down and 10 for Foles. He fakes the flare pass, goes back down incomplete out of the back of the end zone. Pressure from the backside. Throws it away, and it'll be third down and 10. And Kenny Rowe, number 58, going to be mentioned on some all Pac-10 teams. He's a junior. He's out of Long Beach, California, and he is a good one.
First down was a throwaway down. They really didn't have much of a chance to execute on that first play. Set up second and 10.
Foles, nothing doing. So that was Ferris, Blake Ferris, the senior from San Jose, making the defensive play on Kreiner.
Third down. Remember, this was a home run earlier. This was a touchdown for Kreiner. They hit it perfectly. It was against a blitz. He got behind the blitz. The lineman got downfield and went all the way for a touchdown. No shot that time.
This is a 41-yarder. Made one from 47, but missed that 24-yarder. So here we go. Slides it in for the field goal.
Zendejas being pretty consistent tonight. He's missed one, but that one, not only the distance, but he's been very accurate, especially when the pressure has been on. And now let's see what Jeremiah Masoli and the Oregon offense can do against this pesky Wildcat defense.
Masoli inside the 5-yard line. Strikes on first down with Ed Dixon, who caught the tying touchdown pass.
He's right here. They're going to sneak him out on, really, it's almost like a wheel route from a fullback. They get him downfield. Nobody picks him up. They were focused on Mail on the post to the middle of the field. It opened it up again to the outside for Big Ed Dixon.
Will it be Masoli or will it be James? Will it be James or will it be Masoli? James, short of the end zone. A little over a yard away, Kirby, from making a Rose Bowl showdown at home against Oregon State.
The reason Masoli does that each time is he's trying to get a read from upstairs on who they want to option, whether it's the defensive end or a defensive lineman.
Second and goal. Masoli, he is stopped. It will be third down.
Great job that time. They knew to expect Masoli keeping it as 15. Xavier Kelly lowering the boom right there in the hole. You also saw Big Earl Mitchell coming from the backside, but really it was about Xavier Kelly making that read and keeping Masoli out of the end zone.
Masoli, Oregon wins it. The Ducks will play Oregon State in Eugene for the right to go to the Rose Bowl. Both teams fought to the bitter end here tonight. Let's go to Lisa with Coach Kelly.
Thanks, Brent. Chip, what was the key to that game-tying drive at the end of regulation?
You know, I just think Jeremiah Masoli is a hell of a quarterback, and we never, ever think we're out of anything, and we pride ourselves on finishing, and that's what we did. And my hat's out to Arizona. That's one heck of a football team. Mike Stoops does an unbelievable job.
Now, down 10 in the second half, what started to go right for you guys?
We just started making plays. We got a lot of players, and when you play against a good team, you're going to sustain. It's going to be an ebb and a flow, and it was a heck of a football game. Pac-10's a tough league.
All right, thanks. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Sorry
Guys.
about the battle.
Brent, how fitting that it comes down to a play for Masoli to have a chance to lead his team into the end zone for a touchdown and a victory in a hard-fought game. You can see the mutual admiration and respect from both head coaches when they met each other at midfield there, but Masoli fights his way in and leads his team to a come-from-behind victory in a hostile environment here in Tucson. That's a big win.
There have been civil wars in Oregon, but there has not been one as big as the one that is coming up on the night of December 3rd.